This code is clever. It removes the giant conditional. It even looks elegant. But there's a subtle problem here. Something important is disappearing from the system. Can you see what it is? Hello world, I'm David Scott Bernstein and welcome to The Passionate Programmer. At first glance, this feels flexible. We separated selection from execution, and that already is an improvement over a giant conditional. But we also stripped away something profound and important: identity. These actions now just are naked functions in a lookup table. And once behavior loses identity, the system becomes much harder to reason about. Most developers think that the command pattern is just wrapping a function in an object. But something much deeper is happening here. Because once actions become objects, behavior itself becomes part of the architecture. Let's look at some code. This is where many systems start. And honestly, for a small system, this is completely fine. But eventually, the pain begins. You need undo, or queues. You need to do logging, or replaying, or scheduling. You certainly need to do testing and security checks, and all of those things add up. Suddenly, behavior becomes scattered everywhere. That's a problem. Back in 1988, I was working at IBM on an early CD-ROM cataloging system. It was cutting-edge stuff at the time. We were experimenting with things that eventually became HTML-style navigation systems. And the architecture was full of indirect calls and lookup tables. At one point, I spent weeks debugging the debugger I had written. That was literally the phrase, debugging the debugger. Because behavior had no structure, everything was indirect execution paths. And there was almost no guardrails. It was incredibly easy to get lost. Here's some code. So developers often evolve towards something like this. And to be fair, this does solve the real problem. It separates dispatch from execution. That's a meaningful improvement. But it introduces a new problem. The function map solves dispatch, but it didn't model intent. Let's freeze this and look at what's actually happening. What's varying here? Not the document, not the UI. The action itself is varying, and yet the action has no identity in the model. This is where the abstraction test becomes useful. We ask what's varying, what stays stable, where should the decision live, and what abstraction is missing. And the missing abstraction is subtle. Claude, what's missing here? Yes, the system can execute behavior, but it can't represent behavior. Exactly. Procedural systems execute behavior. Object-oriented systems can model behavior. And once behavior becomes representable, the architecture starts to emerge. This tiny structural move changes everything. Now the action has identity, has structure, it has boundaries, and it has meaning. The action exists before execution. It's persistent, and that's profoundly different. Now the system can queue actions or log actions. It can replay actions and inspect actions. It can validate and undo actions. Because behavior is no longer transient, behavior becomes an artifact. Here they are side by side. These may look superficially similar. Both involve indirection. Both delay execution. But structurally, they're very different. On the left, behavior disappears immediately. On the right, behavior participates in the model. That's the real pattern. What makes this a pattern is not the implementation, it's the intent. Here's some test code. This is where the design starts to reveal itself. We can now test behavior in isolation. Not just execution, but orchestration. We're testing behavior, structure, and selection. And this becomes dramatically easier once actions become objects, because represented behaviors can be isolated. That's the key insight. Patterns are testable by design. And of course, we're talking about the command pattern. Here's the canonical UML most developers associate with the command pattern. And this is useful, but only after we understand the force. And the force was never wrap a function. The force was, how do we represent behavior inside this system? That's why this pattern exists. This superficially resembles other design patterns like the proxy, the adapter, the decorator, or even mocks, because all of them involve wrapping or delegating to some other object. But the intent is completely different. The command pattern is about giving behavior identity. The moment actions become objects, behavior gains identity. And once behavior has identity, systems can reason about behavior structurally. That is one of the deepest ideas in object-oriented design. The command pattern isn't really about commands. It's about modeling intent. And once you see that, you start noticing this pattern everywhere. In workflows, in event queues or eventing systems, in AI agents, in orchestration pipelines, everywhere. Because all of them treat behavior as representable artifacts. And that's powerful. Patterns don't just solve problems. They define how variation behaves. And in this case, the variation was the behavior itself. Once you see that, you'll start noticing this everywhere. If you enjoy thinking about software in this way, through forces, variation, and emergent structure, then subscribe and follow along with this playlist, Discovering Design Patterns, where we look at how patterns emerge from forces. Until next time, happy coding.